Hi, this is Neil Cole from Conversion Uplift. Today I'm going to show you how to use GA4 as a form analytics tool. This will allow you to use GA4 to track form completion at each field and see the drop-off rate between each field and also how long in time is elapsed between completing each field. So let's go to our form, which is our Contact Us form. And let's have a look at how GA4 can track field completion. We're in GTM preview mode here, so we can track the events as they fire. So if we start to complete the first field, I'll put a name in, David, and then if we go back to GTM Tag Assistant, we can see an event has fired called form_fill_started. And we can see that it's got a parameter called field value. So we close that down. Now the reason that fired is that I asked a developer to use this script here. So this is the first field. So it's a window data lake push. The event is form_fill started, and this event is fired after a user enters at least 3 characters, which indicates their intent to complete the field. And this, we've got a separate event for each field. So if we fill in the email address, let's put some random. I'll go back to Tag Assistant. We can see another event, form_fill_email now has fired. So that's the second event. And we also have, for the drop down menus, we also have events fire here when a user selects the drop down options. So if we go back to Tag Assistant, we can see Form Fill Assistance. That's the drop down menu there. And if we continue, so we pick an option here, so we'll put website, then we'll put comment. We can see again, Form Fill Platform was the event for the platform chosen, and then the comment also has an event. If we continue, we can sign up to the newsletter we want, and then we just need to accept the captcha. And then we're ready to submit the form. And we see that we have liftoff. So the form has been submitted, we've got confirmation. So we go back to Tag Assistant. We've got a form submit event. That's just basically using the click on the button. So that didn't need a data lake push. And then we've got the generate lead event, which is a data lake push, but you could use the form confirmation to trigger that if you wanted. Now what you might have noticed is that each form fill event starts with form_fill, and that allows us to use a single trigger in GTM. So if we go to form interaction, form field interaction here, we can use a simple bit to regex. So the event starts with, which is the hat, form_fill, and then it fires on all such events. So that means we just have one single trigger, but also one single event tag. So the event tag picks up the event here automatically, and then adds the field value using a data layer value of field value. So if we go back to Tag Assistant, we can see the data layer. We can see that field underscore value is here in the data layer, so that the value of that will be picked up for each event. So that's website. This for the drop downs, it's particularly useful, so we can access the selection they chose. So we have a very simple setup here. It's one event, one trigger. So close that down. So this allows us then to set up a funnel in GA4. So let's go to GA4 and see how we do that. So in debug view here, we can see the events coming through, but let's go to the explore section, and we're going to create a funnel to show you how we do the form analytics in GA4. So we're going to click form funnel, and I'm going to call it form analytics. And we're going to just edit the form. So we're just going to get rid of these. Let's go and edit the form. So the first event will be contact us form visit, I think. So we'll get all users that came to the contact us form. So we'll click on event and look for contact us for visits. That's the first one. And then we do the second step. We'll start with the form fields. So the first one is the start form. So we'll put form field started, which is the name. So we could put name actually, but the event is form fill started. So we'll go to that, and then we'll just put form fill, and we want started. So it's this one there. That's it. So we go to next step. It shows how many users here. Add step. So the next one is the form fill email. So email. So the event is form fill email. Okay. Right, I'll just pause this for a minute and complete the rest of the form. So here we are, I've completed all the steps now. So we've got 7 steps. I've included the click submit, that's the click of the button, as well as the generate lead event. So let's save this. Let's so that we apply, and let's increase the day range. So let's just give it a bit longer to look at. To apply that, give it a bit longer to look at the data. And what we've got here is the number of users that come to the form, and then the numbers that drop off at each field. Now what we can do now is we can enable the show elapsed time. So this will show us the time between each step. Now the first step you may see quite long periods because it works better if you have a shorter time period, because some users may come to the form, look at it, then come back another day before they actually start filling the field in. But you tend to see a better result as you go into the actual form itself. So if you've got lots of traffic, you can bring it down to maybe look at a specific day, and that will give you a more realistic picture in terms of the time elapsed. But even here you can see that the assistance is like 13 seconds, 5 seconds, choose the platform. Then there's a bit of time before they click submit. They're obviously considering their options. And then the generate lead, it happens almost immediately, because obviously that is an automatic event that, provided they've completed the form, that should fire. So we can see here the users, percentage of users each step. So in the end we get on desktop only 4% of users started the form, or started coming to the page completed, while on mobile it's actually much higher, 24%, although admittedly the numbers are quite small. So this allows us to look at the form interaction at a really detailed level, just like a form analytics software package, which can be very expensive. So with a bit of help from a developer, I'll post the scripts below the video, so please use those and get a developer to add the scripts and make sure they only fire them once the user has entered, say, 3 or 4 characters. I would say 3 characters minimum, and that shows some intent, and then that allows you to track each field, interaction with each field, and see the drop-off rate and the time between each field. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll be posting more videos shortly.